Okay. Well, I've had some difficulty sleeping, so I haven't really slept yet. I'm pretty tired, but anyway, I was just reading a little. And by the way, this day today is the day that one goes out and find the perfect spotless lamb without in what do you call it? Without imperfections. I'll see if my brain will work. Let's see here. I'm pretty wasted. But anyway, yes, like nearly 2 o'clock, and I don't know why I can't sleep at the moment. But anyway, I haven't slept in the night, and anyway, back to the not important now. So I was reading in regards of Joshua, and I was thinking. Sorry about the headlight behind, but of course it's not me that we're going to look at anyway. So, so Joshua is coming. This is the King James version, and I've got the program reactivated and all that, and I haven't seen the error where it fails yet. So hopefully that did the trick. But I had to mail them, and you need to jump through different hoops and all that to get the program working again, because it needs to be activated by them, and of course that activation needs to work and all that. You get an activation when you have so-called donate. I was looking at the page in Play Store, and other people had the same view as me. But in any case, it's still the best. It's still the best application there is to Android. So, but I don't like their way of so-called donating and all that. But anyway, so donating to get features. It just doesn't, I think it's a misuse of donating, of the word donation and all that. But in any case, I also found some interesting links, but that's in regard to the program. It doesn't really affect the program itself, but apparently the guy that made the program have like to pointing to two people at least that I know on not the best. And in any case, someone pointed it out, so I was like, okay, let's take a look, and yeah, that's true. It doesn't seem good. Anyway, in any case, whatever. Let's see here. And Jehovah said unto Joshua, This day have I rolled away the reproach of Egypt from off you, wherefore the name of the place is called Gilgal unto this day. And that is in regards of when the children of Israel is coming into the land. Those out in those 40 years in the desert or the wilderness had not been circumcised. But the people that was in Egypt was circumcised. So those people that came out of Egypt was circumcised, but those that walked and all was born and walked around these 40 years apparently was not circumcised. So they're circumcising all the people and all that. And the children of Israel encamped in Gilgal and kept the Passover on the 14th day of the month at even in the plains of Jericho. That was probably Be'erev, yep. And they did eat of the old corn. Now that's a mistranslation as far as I can see from the King James version. One of the places where and it's usually they make it viewable that this is something that was inserted, but they don't at this point. But in any case, so this is just, and they did eat of the corn of the land, or the grain of the land, because that would be barley, on the morrow after the Passover. So the day after the Passover, let's see what word that would be. The morrow, the day after, okay. Mochorat or something like that. Yeah, the day after, okay, yeah. So the day after would be the day of the first fruit. So the so the Passover itself would be a Sabbath. So a weekly Sabbath, and thereby the next day is the first fruit. So that would be the second of unleavened bread then. Yeah, I think, yeah, that the first fruit would have been. Anyway, so because the first fruit is after the Sabbath in regards to the 7 days of unleavened bread, when it's the Sabbath, whenever it's the Sabbath in these 7 days, the next day becomes the first fruit. And then you begin to count these 50. So anyway, or 49. I'm not entirely sure if you count 49 or 50, 49 from the day of first fruit or 50 from the Sabbath. It's 7 Sabbaths, right? And yeah, anyway, but you still get the same result. But I'm still, in any case, after the Passover, unleavened cakes and parched corn in the same day. And as you know, the information that I got from from one of the lectures, and it seems to be confirmed by these guys that knows a lot of things about these things, that parched corn apparently is only in regards to the youthful grains. So this must be from the land. It cannot be old grain as the King James Version translated as. And again, this old thing, it's not in the Hebrew as far as I know and understand. So they eat of the land, in regards of the parched grain, just after the Passover. So that would be after the first fruit, and now they're allowed to eat of the things and all that. Anyway, and the manna ceased on the morrow after, that would be the next day again. Yeah, the day after. So the day after, that would be the third day of unleavened bread, after they had eaten of the so-called old corn. Again, it's again, how they can get to old corn, I'm not sure. It's just but apparently they put it in there, and if you look in many of the other translations, they don't have old in there. You can take the Geneva Bible, which was translated before the King James Version, for example, just to take one, and you should have see here, kept the feast of Passover, the 14th day of the month, at even in the plain of Jericho, and they eat of the corn of the land. So what would be the corn of the land? Well, that would be barley, unleavened bread and parched corn in the same day. And again, if they're eating parched corn, as I understand it, parched corn has to be fresh corn, and that would be barley. So anyway, and that would be the manna. And the manna ceased on the morrow after they had eaten of the corn of the land. Again, it doesn't say the old corn. So here it seems the King James Version has it wrong twice. And some translations that the other translation have followed along, the TS 2009, and I think it was the Hallelujah Scriptures as well. I think that did something in regards of old and all that, but it doesn't seem to add up if you take the context as far as I understand it. And I guess they believe that it might be because of some Jewish traditions that they might have heard about, from the Jews, and because they have something in regards to this, and so they might actually have messed it up because might have messed it up because of listening to them instead of just because you can't have the Passover and then have the Passover, which would be a high day, but could also be the weekly Sabbath as well. So it's like a double Sabbath in some sense, and then the next day would be first fruit. So, and then of course you can eat of the land. So then the harvest can begin and all that after the first fruit had been wavered and all that, as far as I understand it. And the manna ceased on the morrow after they had eaten of the corn, not old, but corn, the corn of the land. Neither had the children of Israel. It's funny. It's funny to see the Geneva getting it correct, and yet the King James Version, which should have much more manpower behind the King James Version, and it gets it wrong. The same with Passover in the book of Acts, where it's translated Passover in the Geneva Bible and many of the other translations, and yet the King James Version translated as Easter. That's just it's oh well. Yeah, you just have to wonder when you have these scholars and learned people, and yet they make these mistakes. Why would they put in Easter instead of Passover? And they, as I understand it, they actually translated Passover rightly other places. So why couldn't they do it? I think it's only once that it actually is translated Easter. So, but I'm not sure if the Passover, if one can search out that in regards to the New Testament, if it's actually, if it's only there once or more, and one could actually look because as I understand, there's only once where it's translated Easter. But it's Passover. We have a problem. Let's see if we can get some. I haven't really looked into I don't think we have new lambs in Denmark yet. Apparently they have in Israel. But I'm not sure if we have in Denmark. And of course I should have prepared for it in some sense, and I should have made something. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I was thinking, maybe I can, like, in regards of symbolic, print out a lamb or something like that. Just to have the symbolic thing of it. Find a perfect spotless lamb on the internet and print it out. I know it's not the right way of, I should have found a lamb that I could buy on this day and take it home in my garden, which I don't have, but or someplace, and then of course, slay it on the 14th, but it's but it's still, I'm still practicing and all that, and it's but it is today that the lamb is, the perfect lamb is taken. So it's just getting into the rhythm of these new things. But of course, it would be better if I actually got a real lamb. That would have been great. Of course, you can actually keep dogs in these apartments, so I guess one could actually have a lamb. It shouldn't be that big but again, I'm not sure if how things goes in regards of lambs in Denmark. It's still it's still at the beginning, and I think they are coming a little later than. Now that's another thing in regards to the lamb. Does it have to be like this this spring year of a lamb, or can one use a lamb from the last year? That's something I need to figure out as well. We have some data and other people have a lot of research as well. But as I understand it, a lamb was like for 10 to 20 people. You know, a whole lamb could go for 10 to 20 people. And I do wonder how you know, that seems pretty much for one little lamb. But of course, you know, I guess, yeah, of course we have four. You have four big lamb legs, you know, and that might be at least for 4 people. So I guess that's, you know, and you might have more than actually. That of course depends on how big the lamb is. I just saw something yesterday where I looked into it, and they talked about like half of a kilo a day that they took on. So they're growing very quickly and taking. In any case, not sure how that would. How that would work out and all that, but anyway. And they did eat of the, you know, corn of the land on the mouth. Oh, what's that? That's old corn again. How many times did we have old corn, yeah. Okay, yeah, they ate of the land, and neither had the children of Israel manna anymore, but they did eat of the fruit of the land. It's like, let's see, fruit. Tebuah, the produce or product or revenue, product yield, crops of the earth usually. Yeah. Of the land of Eretz. Okay. Of Canaan that year. Yeah, I guess they would have eaten of the, you know, fields. Shanab. Anyway. That's not really that's not really what I was looking for, but anyway, and it came to pass when Joshua, and actually in Hebrew it's Yehoshua, I'm not sure why they would translate it as Joshua in the. I don't think in the Hebrew there's any place where he is called Joshua. I think it's Yehush, but of course Yehu and Yo is, you know, pretty much the same, but. You know, still, if we want to be close to the Hebrew, and I think we want to be close to the Hebrew, right? Let's see what the Hebrew says. Oh, we still have a problem. Okay. It seems, you know, even if I've installed the program, so, let's see if we can. Why is it? It won't take a screenshot. There we go. Not sure if it saves it. I took some other screenshots and it didn't seem to save it in regards to the error codes. This is, it seems it's, no, cannot save the screenshot. Well, that might also because, maybe because I'm on, but it not saved. Of course, I have it on the video, but I can take a screenshot from the computer, I guess. But can't load the module, hey ISB book, blah, blah, blah. Error, could not open the database. It seems this is another problem then in regards to, I have no idea if it's one of the modules that, you know, messes things up or something like that. It might be the case, but I'll have to close it and open it again. Let's see. Okay, there we go. And now it will work. Should work anyway. Is it? Yeah, there we go. Again, I still don't know what is wrong with it. Maybe it's their program after they updated that was, or I don't know. But I've just new installed this program and activated it and all that, clean install, and then just fix my books over, or, you know, fixed all the files that I had over in the folders, and I'm getting this problem still, sadly. Anyway, Vi, Vaihi. I do wonder if it actually takes the. Okay, Vaihi. I'll have to go with that. Vaihi biyot Yehoshua. So you see Yehoshua, not Joshua, but Yehoshua. And, sometimes it's shortened as Yeshua, but as I understand it, it's never Joshua. But anyway, Beriro, in Jericho. Anyway, let's go back to the King James. Boom, 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 boom. So and it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man. Oh yeah, that was the thing. That was okay. So after they eaten the corn off the land, as I understand it, it is it's the grain from the land, because parched corn is as far as I have the people that know a lot of these things, both the Jews and the Christians, that are doing a lot of research in regards of the Aviv and knowing things, and they some of them have years and years and years of research behind them to find out here and there, and still things are being but yeah, anyway, so they say parched grain. When you parch the grain, that's in the youth. It has to be youthful grain. And I guess, it might make sense. It might be more moist in the corn or something like that. And if the corn has laid, if it's old corn, it would become hard, right? Corn can be pretty hard, right? So, and you can't really eat, hard corn, directly. So I think it is like, still in some sense moist, but I haven't tried it. But they say it can only be in the the Aviv state, but not too far into because there apparently is a point where you cannot parch the corn or the grain, as I understood it. But again, I'm not the expert on this for sure, but I was listening to, there was a great lecture where he used the material from the Jews and used he used different sources, wonderful and the Bible, of course, and just set things, to set things straight again. So that was really nice, and there's some things I need to revisit, but I still have it. I should be out buying a lamb. It is today. I just don't know how to, I don't know where I would find it. And, of course it could walk up here, I guess, for 4 days, if I could find a place, but yeah. I don't know, maybe I just print an image out. But it would be nice to do it correct, get your hands into it and all that. That would be nice. And again, then the Samaritans are also still using a lamb and all that. And I think actually the Orthodox Christians, or some of them, seem to also have a lamb at Passover. I think they did something as well in regards, still had these things, which would be correct, but of course they keep it a month away. But anyway, it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes. So it came to pass when Yehoshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man. There stood a what? An Ish. I have checked the Hebrew. It is an Ish, which is a man, like when the 3 men came to Abraham, and when Jehovah says, I am a man of war. And of course the angel that stood in the bush, burning bush, but he was he described as a man, but you could if it's the same, if it's the same angel, then it might have been, a man standing in the bush. But anyway, so a man over against him. So a man is standing, over against him. I guess that would be like in front of him, a little further away from him. And he stands with his sword drawn. So he has a sword, must be in his hand. I would, think when he has it drawn, right? So, doesn't say which hand, does it? Yeah, in his hand. There's actually, yeah. With his sword drawn in his hand. We don't know what hand it was, but, at least one, he's standing with a sword in his hand. Yeah, we pretty much got that, okay? A man standing with a sword in his hand. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, Art thou for us or for our adversaries? Question mark. Yep. And he said, Nay, but as captain of the host. I do wonder in regards to the host, isn't that actually talking, of the Israelites, but are they not called the host in some sense of, but anyway, and he said, Nay, but as captain of the host, I guess it could maybe also be in regards to spiritual powers, but I think Israel is called the host, anyway, of the host of Jehovah am I now come. So, nay, but as captain of the host of Jehovah am I now come. I do wonder what the Greek says in regards to that. Do we have like an LXX version here? Let's see. And he said to him, I am now come, the chief captain of the host of the Lord. And Joshua fell on his face. Okay. So the chief captain of the host of the Lord. Yeah, okay. Then we have, let's check if we have, no, we don't have sadly, I actually have the Aramaic in the other program. I'm not sure how much I would get out of that, but that could be interesting to look at, but let's skip that for, but that would be something to look into to see. Yeah, anyway. So what happens? Okay, and he said, Nay, but as captain of the host of Jehovah am I now come. So the question is, who is this angel, this messenger, this captain or man that has now come to them? And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship. Shalak, to bow down, they translate it as worship. Now, if he actually worships this man, had to be God, then if he worships him. Let's see what other translation says. Let's take the Geneva Bible. And, it says worship as well, okay. Well, what about some of these that actually sometimes, it says obedience, okay. What about Webster, worshipped? We could, of course, just take compare, let's see here, the Greek, and then obedience. That's a kiss, okay. Kneeling or prostration to do homage to one or make obeisance. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. I could, of course, probably take and copy. Why is... Oh, okay. Oh, maybe I can look it up here. Yeah, but I wanted to actually... Nope. Why to copy and get into the... Oh, I'm getting tired now. Bending of the head. Okay, let's see if we can.
Obeisance.
Obeisance. Let's have some more.
Obeisance.
Oh, that was very low. That's very hard too.
Obeisance.
Obeisance. It says obedience, the act of obeying dutiful, submissive behavior with respect to another person. I guess it might be, yeah, the other thing I don't know. Here it says prostrated himself, so it could be that he's worshiping this this man with a sword in his hand. It wouldn't actually be. Here it also says worship. Anyway, let's go back to the King James. The thing is, and he said, "Nay, but as captain of the host of Jehovah am I now come." And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship and said unto him, "What saith my Lord?" So he also says Adon. Okay, let's see how that is actually in the Hebrews. That's just Adon. Not that is bad in any way. But let's see what it is. He actually is. Adoni. Okay, my Lord. Adoni. I do wonder if that is the plural or the singular. I think it's singular, but I'm not so sure. It says it's Adonai in regards of pushing it, but what was it? I have something in regards of Adoni and the different forms of the verb and all that. I can't remember if it's, singular or plural in regards of this, but anyway. Getting tired. Strikes quickly, and said unto him, What said my Lord unto his servant? Again, I'm not entirely sure if it's the plural form or the singular. Either way would work, because we have Adon used for God and we have Adonai used for God. So both would work and there wouldn't actually be a problem in regards of either way. And the captain of Jehovah's host said unto Joshua, Loose thy shoe from off thy foot, for the place whereon thou standest is holy. And Joshua did so. Now we have the same exact experience when Moses, sees the angel, the messenger in the burning bush, and God is speaking from within the bush where the messenger stands, so it might actually be the messenger speaking. Of course, and he hides his face because he don't dare to look at on God. Well, if he could look on God, it might be the messenger in the bush that was God. And the question is, who is this man? The thing is, and Joshua, and I'm just thinking and just, I'm a little tired and all that. I might make mistakes and all that. But I'm thinking Joshua, at the ending here, many times the chapters are just put the wrong places and doesn't really make sense. So let's imagine that there is no chapter here. Let's just imagine, because when you read it and you get to a new chapter, you have a way of saying, we have a new beginning. And that might actually be wrong in this, I was looking at it, I was like, this chapter, this might be not, the right place. And, again, this drunken priest or whatever that has put these chapters in the Bible, it was not something the Bible was born with. And we know there are wrong places where he just put it in there and just totally wrong, just messes up the things because, again, people have this understanding when you come to an end of a chapter and then you have the beginning of another, then but that's you can't do that. You can't do that with the Bible. You have to be careful. So anyway, and he said, "Nay, but as captain of the host of Jehovah am I now come." And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship. And again, if he worshipped this man, well, it must be God then, because if it's not God and he's worshipping, that's a no-go, Then the angels should have rebuked him, or the man in this, but of course, it's, he's coming as the captain. So again, a messenger would probably also work. But anyway, he is, if he actually did worship this man, that would of course not be okay to do if the man was not God himself, But anyway, and did worship and said unto him, "What saith my Lord unto his servant?" So apparently it's also Joshua's Lord, or Yehoshua's Lord. And the captain of Jehovah's host said unto Yehoshua, "Loose thy shoe or sandals from off thy foot, for the place whereon thou standest is holy." And Joshua did so. And again, we see the same thing happening in regards of Moses. Now, just imagine that there is no chapter, okay? That's the interesting thing, I think, So, now Jericho was straitly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out and none came in. We really haven't heard much what the angel, when Moses talked to God in the burning bush, he was given some instructions after he took off his shoe and all that. He was, given instructions and talking to God and all that. So, but by having this chapter thing, you might actually slip over it in some sense. So just imagine that the chapter is not there and Yehoshua is still standing in front of this guy with a sword, okay? So now it changes. Look, just think about that. He's still standing. Or actually, he's not standing anymore. He's worshiping, So that's true. He was worshiping, right? So he might be, on his knees or something like that. You have to remember that this man could maybe be God, and if he's God, Joshua would have worshipped him, So we know that there are more than one Jehovah, yet Jehovah is one. But we know that there are more, working together and all that. Both of them named Jehovah. And then, of course, we have the Spirit, the Holy Spirit. Anyway, so now Jericho was straitly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out and none came in. And what happens now? And Jehovah said unto Joshua, "See, I have given into thine hand Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor. And ye shall compass the city, all ye men of war, and go around about the city. Once thus shalt thou do 6 days." Who is speaking to Yehoshua? Well, didn't the man with the sword in his hand, stand in front of Yehoshua? And then Jehovah said unto Joshua, "Well, if we know there's more than one Jehovah, couldn't it actually be that this man with a sword in his hand is Jehovah?" I think we can actually, and they just put the chapter just in the, I was looking in regards of the Jews also have some kind of chapter division. I'm still not entirely sure how it works out. but they seem to have gotten it wrong as well. But they didn't put it the same place as the chapter, but they put it a little. I think they put it after this line, something like that. I'm not entirely sure how there's different letters where it's like it seems like they're like making a statement that this is a stop, But anyway, let's just read it as so. The angel comes. We are getting a description. He has a sword in his hand. He's coming as the captain of the host of Jehovah. Again, even if he's coming as captain of the host of Jehovah, he might be Jehovah himself. You have the Father, and you have the Son, you have the Word. You have Jehovah, the Word, and you have Jehovah. So now Jericho was straightly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out and none came in. And Jehovah said unto Joshua, or Yehoshua, See, I have given into thy hand Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor. I think that's the man speaking to Joshua or Yehoshua. I think the man with the sword in the hand is the one speaking, and he is the one that is referred to as Jehovah, in regards of this place. I think it's the same guy speaking. It's just different ways of, we know that, they're working together and all that, and wouldn't be a surprise. But anyway, so it goes on. He has just told him to take off his shoes, right? And then they just end the chapter, And the captain of Jehovah's host said unto Yehoshua, Loose thy shoe from off thy foot, for the place whereon thou standest is holy. And Yehoshua did so. Are we then to imagine that, it just stops there? Because, I made that mistake, I think, when I read it the first couple of times. And I'm like, I don't think it stops. The guy have just loosened his shoes and thrown them off. Are we not to expect that this man is going to say more to Yehoshua, like the messenger did to Moses when he, asked him to take off your shoes, I think he is. And again, Jehovah said unto Yehoshua, See, I have given into thine hand Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty man of valor. It's like when Moses is talking to God in the burning bush. Well, that's the angel of Jehovah standing in the burning bush. Yet Moses hides his face because he's afraid to look upon God. And God says, I have now come down. So who came down? Wasn't it the messenger of Jehovah that came down? So I think there's some I think there's just some more into this. Let's see here. And ye shall compass the city, all ye men of war, and go around the city once. Thus shalt thou do 6 days. So 6 days and 7. Actually, shouldn't we actually know when we actually are in regards to the Feast of Shavuot and all that? We had I don't know, but maybe it's the 3rd day or something that we had. I can't remember if you can actually find out which day, but then they would actually walk around the city in one of the Sabbaths as well. So they wouldn't follow the Sabbath. If the Sabbath was at Passover, again, it depends how far. Maybe it's not actually describing which day it is. I'm not sure. Something to look into. Maybe it is a little later. But in any case, it's isn't it at least the third day or something like that? At least I can't remember. I'm getting too tired. It's not sticking too well in the brain. So, and 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of ram horns, and the 7th day ye shall compass the city 7 times. So, every single day of the 6 days, just once, and then the 7th day you go 7 times around, and the priest shall blow with the trumpets. And I think it's still the man with the sword telling Joshua this. And it shall come to pass that when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when ye hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout with a great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall ascend up, every man straight before him. It seems there's a lot of shouting and all that, but I'm not sure that, we just have spring, right? So I guess we couldn't already be in, maybe we could, but then they have been a long time, because it talks about Passover. So it doesn't really sound like that could have, at least then it's jumping in time. If it would have something to do with that seems unlikely. But of course it could be maybe there were a long time by Jericho, but would they be there like nearly 6 months? Before going against Jericho. I don't know. Any more, but they did eat of the fruit of the land of Canaan that year. And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho, and again, the question is, how much time has now gone by? And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over again. I would have thought it would still be, at the time of the spring, but I'm getting so tired of that. And Jehovah said unto Yehoshua, then we pretty much read that and all that, and it shall come to pass in regards of, with a great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall ascend up, every man straight before him. So again, when the blast with the ram's horn, and when you hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout. It sounds like the day of trumpets in regards of, but then there would have been like 6 months gone by. That seems to be a long time. But anyway, with a great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall ascend every man straight before him. And Joshua the son of Nun called the priest, and said unto them, take up the ark of the covenant, and Joshua the son of Nun, and let 7 priests bear 7 trumpets of ram horns before the ark of Jehovah. And he said unto the people, pass on pass on, is that like Pesach? No, that's Abba, okay. Pass on and compass the city, and let him that is armed pass on before the ark of Jehovah. So I would think that it actually stops here, where Joshua is maybe finished talking with this man with a sword in his hand. But of course I could be wrong, but it doesn't seem to just stop up here in regards of where they want to stop it. Because I think it's Jehovah talking to Joshua, which is the man standing with the sword in his hand. like the man talking to Abraham that was the judge of the world. I think that's a good, if he worshipped him as well, that would be very good, because if it was just a normal standard angel, the angel would, should have rebuked him for doing that. Okay. Ugh. And Joshua the son of Nun called the priest and said unto them, Take up the ark of the covenant, and let 7 priests bear the 7 trumpets of ram horns before the ark of Jehovah. And said unto the people, Pass on, and compass the city, and let him that is armed pass on before the ark of Jehovah. And it came to pass, when Joshua had spoken unto the people, that the 7 priests bearing the 7 trumpets of ram horns passed on before Jehovah, and blew with the trumpets, and the ark of the covenant of Jehovah followed them. And the armed men went before the priest and blew with the trumpets, and revolt came after the ark, the priests going on and blowing with the trumpets. And Yehoshua had commanded the people, saying, Ye shall not shout, nor make any noise with your voice, neither shall any word proceed out of your mouth, until the day I bid you shout, then shall ye shout. Okay, I see shout. Hooah, hooah. Uh-oh. So the ark of Jehovah compassed the city, going about it once, and they came into the camp and lodged in the camp. And so forward and so forward and so forward, But what I found interesting was in regards of this, is it actually not a chapter shift? If it's not a chapter shift, it's just then, Joshua takes off his shoes and then it ends. Doesn't it seem a little strange that, for the place whereon thou standest is holy, and Joshua did so. And then what? Did it just stop? Did it just, don't we get any more info? Well, I still think we actually do. I think this is actually, further going on. Now Jericho was straightly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out and none came in. Well, didn't something in regards of Yehoshua actually seeing this guy when he was at Jericho, And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man. So he was by Jericho, and here we have where they're talking about Jericho. And Jehovah said unto Yehoshua, See, I have given into thine hand Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor. Again, I think it's the man with the sword speaking still. And if that's the case, he's named Jehovah. So that would just be another one in regards of the nails in the coffin, in regards of Yeshua being Jehovah, and this messenger and man, which is found throughout all scripture, here and there. I didn't really, the first times I read it, I really didn't get it, it's like, and then it stops the chapter. I was like, why is this, okay, we're stopping the chapter, okay. And then you just read on, but because there was a chapter, I didn't realize that it actually was, still going on. And then it becomes much more interesting, because then we seem to actually have that the man is Jehovah, but he's also the captain of the host of Jehovah. So again, that would be 2 again. So anyway, it wouldn't of course be strange because we see it so many places. But again, Why would anyone put a chapter there? I don't understand, you know. Anyway, I should probably stop now. I'm getting terrible tired. That's at least I feel like I'm terrible tired. So that was pretty much it, you know. You can go read it for yourself. It's Joshua, or you know, Joshua 5 and the end of Joshua 5 and then the beginning of Joshua 6. Just, you know, take away the chapter and just read it. You know, it's just thrown away the shoe or taken off his shoes and all that. Wouldn't this angel with the sword in his hand continue to speak with him? Why would it stop there, right? And if it is the man speaking to Joshua, well, that guy, that man, is Jehovah. Now, of course, that would be the same man speaking with Abraham, and most likely also the same standing in the bush, in the burning bush, the messenger talking to Moshe. The question, of course, is if the angel at the place of where Isaac or Yitzhak, you know, Abraham is going up to slay him, and then there's an angel speaking. The question is who, you know, if there's no other place in the Bible where he could have seen or known or whatever, I can't remember what it was, but you know, then if there's no other place, you know, that might be the place where he actually saw him, or you know, so we also have the angel that speaks like he's God in when the Egyptian woman, I think she's a Egyptian that Abraham has contact with because his wife is not bearing him any children, so the wife that wants children gives her servant to him. By any case, so after that, when she has a child and all that, she's walking in the desert, and an angel, I think it's a messenger, is speaking to her, and he's speaking like he's God himself. Yet we also told he's an angel of things. So that's another place to look into, of course. Again, all interesting things, and I'll stop now. But when Yeshua said that Moses wrote about him, maybe he was speaking the truth, you know. You know, God is a man that he does not. God is not a man that he should lie, right? And God is a man of war. Where is my if I could end it. Uh-oh. Where is my... There we go. Have a good one, all of you. That was just a little one. Oops.